Today on the channel, we got a superhero of a different kind from the Sesame Street NECA Ultimate line. We got Super Grover.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another NECA Ultimate unboxing and review. And today on the channel, latest from the Sesame Street line, we got Super Grover, not to be confused with regular Grover, Todd McFarlane. We got the Super Edition here. And of course, for all your Super Grover needs, currently better hit up Haulathon at Target, be it online or in store. But eventually, you'll be able to find this everywhere, including our friends over there at jaystoysandgames.com. Use code Kyle, save yourself 15%. Gotta get a deal out there. And you guys know we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there as well. And Super Grover, the latest in the Sesame Street gang. We got the Count. We got Bert and Ernie. We got Grover. Next up, I believe, is Big Bird. And you got to think they're saving Elmo for a big thing. Everybody wants that Elmo. I hear the chattering out on the streets. Where's Elmo? When's Elmo coming? I don't know. You just got to tickle him and then he might come. But I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I've never been a huge Sesame Street fan, but the figures look really cool. Obviously, I know I'd say 90% of the characters, whatever it is, how could you not throughout the years? And a very cool shelf here as far as display and dare I say artwork, as figures are a form of artwork. They look great. They look awesome. Look great on a shelf. Doesn't mean I'm going to go dig up some Sesame Street episodes. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I needed like guns and weapons and Transformers in my cartoons and stuff as a kid. But Super Grover playing those super hits here. He's got a knight helmet on. That's an interesting power move. You don't see that very much. Super Grover artwork there. Very Sesame Street. It looks like a kid's book back in the day. Looking pretty good. Big J hook up there at the top. Super Grover, you know, he does the curls for the girls. He's got the bi going on right there. Looking pretty good. And then, you know, he went through the wall, I guess. And that's why he's got that helmet on. Nobody wants CTE, especially Grover once upon a time. And then on the back, got some glamour shots there. Put him on a flight stand and he's off to the old races. Does it say anything back here? Nope. 123 Sesame Street. I don't know. Is what it is. And on the inside, you got the figure. You got the glamour shot. He's ready to party, of course, as one Super Grover does. And, you know, I heard he parties pretty hard. I heard he's been partying with Bert and Ernie on an occasion. And I hung out with Bert and Ernie one time, and it snowed for days, folks. It snowed for days. See you later. Goodbye. Ooh, Plot Twist City. We got a flight stand with Grover. How about that? A little Grover flight stand? Hey, we're here for that. And then we got Grover, brought to you by S&G, it looks like here. But I'm going to take this offline, get all this put together, out of the package. We'll be back talking all things Sesame Street, NECA, Ultimate, Super Grover. All right, we got Super Grover out of the package, and I gotta be honest, a lot less accessories than I assumed in here. We know what happens when you assume, Todd McFarlane, but I figured there'd be more accessories with this pack, so pretty light on the accessories, but let's dive in. Now, we do get the flight stand here. That's pretty cool for Super Grover. Have him suspended in your collection, do whatever you want. You can display it suction cup onto something if you want to. That's a nice space saver for some people, but you do have that option. And then you got your historic clear flight stand, I guess we'll call it. You've got the pinch point right there, put around the waist or whatever you want to. You got the arm up there, and it does ratchet up as need be. All clear, very cool. You can use it for Super Grover, but you can also use it for something else if you want to. So nice to have options if you need this for some other toy line, a Marvel Legend or whatever it may be. Looking good with that. Now diving into his hands, we got splayed out hands out of the package. That's probably what I'm going to use. It looks like he's ready to guard somebody. He's just guarding somebody like a guard, like a young BJ Armstrong. Shout out to BJ Armstrong. And then we do got two gripping hands here. So you got some options in the hand department. I think I'm going to use the splayed out hands on him. I think that looks the best. But very furry, obviously like a Muppet, you might say, but nice blue fur on the hands. Then we do get the letters. Now, get me interesting. Is NECA going to give us every letter in the alphabet? That would be pretty darn cool. And I have to imagine there's enough Sesame Street characters to give us every letter of the alphabet, especially if they're going to pack 2 in on some of these, maybe 3 on some of the deluxe ones. We'll see where that goes. Got to say, these are pretty heavy as well. He's got a nice little heavy weight to him. Always appreciate that. You got G for Jeffrey the Giraffe, I believe, Todd McFarlane. Looking good here. Got a little eyes, little nose there. Got a little G. And then S right here. I don't know what that's supposed to be. A little hair at the top. I thought that was a rubber duck at first when I first looked at it. But a little hair. Got a little lipstick, some eyes. Got a little bit of color against the green. Looking good. S for Steve. Shout out to Steve out there. Any Steves watching? Shout out to you, Steve. This is dedicated to you. This review goes out to my friend Steve. There it is. But now we're diving into old Super Grover, and he's looking extra super. He does got that Knight's helmet over the top, and I was assuming, once again, there's that magical word, that we were getting 2 heads with this one. Not the case, though. Not the case. Only 1 head for Super Grover. We do got the Knight's crown, the nice helmet up at the top. It does move the visor a little bit, but you can't take it all the way down over the eyes, which is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. Got that big bulbous nose, and I don't know if you heard this. Fact check this if you want. But I was told that Grover, a heck of a drinker. He could pack it back like Zach Wilde back in the day, or even Lemmy bellied up at the Rainbow. He could put the drinks back. But unfortunately, we do know with alcoholism, especially in the Muppets, we know what happens there. He got that big bulbous nose. He's got that drinker nose. We've seen it before. We've seen it. Lon Chaney Jr., you ever see him at the end of his career? Pure drinking nose going on. And Grover, unfortunately, the effects of alcoholism really setting the tone right here. It's unfortunate for Grover. I hope he finds a way to the other side. The other side. And I'm not talking about the coffin and all that kind of other side. I'm talking about the other side of sobriety. That's what we're looking for, Todd McFarlane. We'll see. We'll send a note to him. Who knows? But big bulbous nose. Got some worried eyes there. And I'd be worried too if I was an alcoholic like Grover. You got to be careful with that stuff. No ears on this guy here, but he does got a mouth, and very cool, it does move. So I love that. Love to be able to open and move that mouth. It's almost like getting multiple heads for a figure because you can do different full closed mouth, fully open mouth, somewhere in the middle. Choose your own mouth adventure is what you get to do there. Now he's got the G and the lightning bolt for Super Grover, of course. You have to have that. Looks like that is just kind of glued on there, so be careful. You got that Muppet fur all over. We talked about it in the hands. His whole body's covered. His whole body. Is Grover a boy? I think he is. I don't know. We'll see. But Grover looking good like a blue Bigfoot. Like a blue mini Bigfoot is what it looks like. But it does look good. Nice sculpted hair. They do a good job at NECA with this kind of stuff. Got those big splayed out hands as I was talking about. And then like a young Lando Calrissian, he's got the cape going on. He's got a little rope tied around his neck, got the red cape there tied at his hands. It honestly looks like a cape you would make at your grandma's house. You know, one day you're staying at your grandma's or whatever in the summer, you grab a bed sheet or a blanket or something, you find some old rope, you make yourself a cape. And I think that's kind of what they're going for with this one. A lot of kids obviously watching Sesame Street. How can I make a cape at home? Voila, you got this. Next thing you know, though, these little kids are jumping off the deck, jumping off the rooftops because they got a cape and they're watching Super Grover. Dangerous to follow an alcoholic Muppet around with a cape on, but it happens. I'm sure it happened out there. I got a story from when I was a little kid. I went through a window watching Alpine, tried to do it on G.I. Joe, and I got a huge scar to this day right up here in my eyebrow. Almost lost my eye. So wild times. I'm sure we all been there. Now, one really cool thing on the articulation on this one, once again, didn't know this was a thing. He's got bendy arms here. So he's got the bendy wire. You got those little bendy holes that are, you know, with the bendy stuff. So we do got bendy. There's no real articulation in the arm. So that is very different, but welcomed with this one, I will say. Now you do get the hands that are removable back, forth, side to side. So like traditional hands, but the arms are bendy wire. So that is pretty cool to see. Head back and forth, a little bit up and down, side to side. We already talked about the mouth being movable. Now we do got the upper dumbbell up there, so you got some movement up there around the chest. Nothing for the waist. Leg goes up a little bit. It can kick you right in the shin if you're not careful. We got a single jointed knee, got a little side to side on that knee. Ankle up and down, a little bit of back and forth, side to side. Got those big old feet though, so he should stand just fine on his own, I would imagine, as he does. But we'll do the ringside test. Even though you got a flight stand for him, we can still see. Oh, it's tight. Grover, he's too tight. He's got to work that whole game. A little less cape game, a little bit more whole game, I guess is what he needs to do. But he will stand, like I said, just fine on his own here. But not a bad piece of business here for old Super Grover. I would say Super Grover, at least in my limited knowledge of the Sesame Streets. I know about different streets, but not necessarily the Sesame Streets. I know about the mean streets, of course. West Side KP, after all. I would say he is an A-lister in the Sesame Street gang. Would you agree with me? Bert and Ernie, definitely A-listers. Oscar the Grouch, an A-lister. Big Bird, obviously an A-lister. Elmo, that young up-and-comer. I guess he's not young anymore. He's probably 30 years old, but he's an A-lister. Grover, an A-lister. I think the B and C list is where you get into like some of those little mini ones and like was it Telly or something? Was there a Telly? I think there was a Telly. And what about Snuffleupagus? I don't see him getting a lot of shine in this day and age. So I think Snuffleupagus used to be always Big Bird's right hand. I think he's went down a couple of notches. He's too big after all. But it'd be interesting to see who else they end up coming with. And as when we go into the deep championship rounds for this line, is it going to get too much, too out there? Going to be very interesting to see where this all shakes out. But we do got some comparisons here. How about Count Von Count? You know me, I'm always here for a Dracula, especially in Muppet form, of course. Why wouldn't we be? So we got that. We've unboxed all these on the channel, as you guys know. And then we got Bert and Ernie, that magical duo. Are they together? Are they father and son? Are they just fast friends? I'm not exactly sure. Nobody seems to know. Nobody's ever going to know, I guess. But we do got the Sesame Street gang, at least as of now, how it sits here today from NECA. Pretty fun. I know there's a lot of people, how much I love G.I. Joe and Cops and Transformers and all that kind of stuff. There's somebody on that other side of the fence from me, of course, as a little kid that I wouldn't associate with. But, you know, we're not going to go there. But no, on the other side of the fence where this is their childhood. This is their childhood memories. And I can always respect that because you like what you like, you don't what you don't. And I know how fond childhood memories are, at least for me personally. So I'm sure there's a lot of people with that same thing for the Sesame Street gang. And I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to judge it. So there it is. Old Super Grover, NECA Ultimate. What's your guys' thoughts on this one? Is this an immediate pickup for you? Do you need this in your collection? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day and then some. Got even more content for you on Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. Your best way to support the channel and all the content it brings. Sir Paul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is also the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show. Available every Tuesday where podcasts are found with video cast on YouTube. So for Super Grover NECA Ultimate Edition, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?